G'day YouTube. So something a bit different today. This is a tree that belongs to someone whom I'm looking after it for. It came to me in very poor health. She's been trying to get it to recover, but it hasn't really sprung back to life. And I got it probably back in, when was it? I think it was good 6 months ago, probably in summer sometime. Or January, February, probably even earlier. Can't remember. Claire, if you're watching, this is yours, Claire. This is your tree. Now, pretty much when it came to me, is didn't have much foliage left. This back tree had died. It's actually dead, totally dead. And a lot of this was starting to die off as well. So what I pretty much did is put it in the garden in a semi-shady spot and just watered it. Put it under the sprinkler system and just let it see if it would recover on its own. And that's sometimes what you just have to do, is just let it recover, let a tree recover on its own. They will somehow find a way, unless they're really sick. So I thought this tree is quite healthy. What I did notice is probably the soil was a little dry. Now Claire did tell me that she has a lot of wind where she is. It's a very breezy spot, and it doesn't get, well, it's a very breezy spot and it dries out very quickly. So I just thought, just get it watered, and that's pretty much all I did. Left it for 6 months, good 6 months, or whenever it was dropped off, and it's actually sprung back to life pretty well. Lots of foliage, lots of green foliage in around here. There's still a lot of dead bits in here, which will have to go. They'll never recover. But what I didn't do is I didn't touch it. I pretty much just let it do its thing. But what it definitely needs is to get out of this soil. This soil isn't very good for it. So I'm just going to get into my mix, and it hopefully should come back to life. Claire still likes the back tree, even though it's dead, so we're going to leave that tree there. I am not going to actually trim it now. I'm not going to trim the dead bits off it. I'm going to wait till the spring, and when all the new foliage has come out, I'll know definitely what's dead. So then I'll come in and clean all that dead off, so the tree looks very healthy and strong again. The back tree will just give it that age look. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'll be doing today. I don't expect... One thing I did notice is when it came to me, there wasn't much weeds on the top, and the weeds are always looking dry. That to me is an indication that that if you're not weeding all the time, mind you, that indication that there's not enough soil, not enough water. Now, I should have done a before shot, but this was full of weeds when I just picked it up. Now that tells me this tree's been getting lots of water. The weeds are growing, so the soil's nice and wet, and the roots are nice and healthy, getting lots of water. So some of the things if you do look after trees, someone needs you to look after a tree, get it back into health. Don't go nuts on it. Don't go crazy on it. You can't guarantee its health, but what I do is just leave it alone and just give it water, and that's usually what happens. And you do that, and sometimes they come back to life, especially deciduous trees. Junipers, if they go brown, apart from shimpaku, which normally go a bronze colour in winter anyway. The other junipers, if they tend to go brown and prickly, they're probably dead. Apart from the shimpaku, that's different. But yeah, so always a positive. Now I'm looking through it, I can definitely see all the new buds, green foliage, new buds. Like this is dead, I can see that already. So I might, I could even just come in, see how they're crispy. You could actually go and come in and clean it up. But I just don't want to do it in case there's a bud somewhere, somehow, going to spring. Most likely not, but you never know. So I'm not going to... This is nice and healthy in the back here, nice and healthy. Yeah, that looks all dead there, that looks all dead there. But it could come back to a nice broomstock in this tree, because that's still alive. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to get cracking, get the roots cleaned up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I'll probably have to clean out the dead roots in there. I'm sure there will be some, but then it's going to get washed, cleaned and washed, and repotted, and should be in a nice open mix, in my nice open mix. And that tree should recover very nicely over spring, and should be a healthy tree to go back to its owner in the springtime. All right, so we'll see how we go, guys. So all I did was actually take the tree out of the pot, and pretty much the soil just fell off. Now that pretty much tells me there's probably a lot of rot in there that happened over time. So I kept digging around, pulling the weeds out. So there is good news. There is nice healthy roots in there. I have to wash it off. There's a lot of roots that are dead, but that's because of this tree. That was this tree that was back here. That's dead. But what I found, and this is what's frustrating, is not Claire's fault at all. It's unfortunately where she probably got it from. Is there's a whole lot of clay, thick, hard clay, mushy clay in the base of this tree. That's probably what's caused a lot of the problems with this tree. That area would have dried out, and goes really hard and kills the roots. Now, if this was in the mix it was in, would have been fine if it was all throughout the actual tree. So that's what's really frustrating. Wherever this tree came from, I'm not sure where Claire got it. It had the clay in there. I hope people understand that thick, mushy clay, when it dries out in summer, it goes rock hard. Any roots in there would have just died. Simple as that. And that's what's probably caused, more than anything, the loss of branches and a lot of dieback. So my plan is, I've pretty much just combed the soil out, just fell away. I'm going to go and wash this really thoroughly, get the clay out of there. It's very mushy and moist. Now I'll try and give you a sneak, kind of come right in there. You can see that is clay. That's mush clay. So this would have been field grown, and when taken out, they just left the clay on there, and that's it. And that's what the problem. That's probably what the problem is for this tree. So all I can do now is rescue this tree. In terms of rescuing this tree, wash all that soil off, put it in my nice open mix, leave it in a nice shady spot, and let Mother Nature pretty much just let it recover on its own. As I said, it was growing quite well again. There are nice roots. I can see nice healthy roots around, so that's good. But there's not much. There's not many roots. So we'll have to be careful not cut too much off. I will cut the rotted off bits that I don't think are going to be any use. But yeah, well, let's clean this and see what it looks like after I've done the clean out. Because with the jet hose spray, I should be able to get that clay off. All right, I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so that was pretty tough. Getting all that clay off, but I'll come in and show you. There's some nice healthy roots, so I'm not even going to touch them. I'm not really even going to trim them at all. I did pluck out a lot of the weeds, the seeds, and from the weeds and things like that. There's some bits still left, but all the clay's come out, and it was all right in amongst that base, and that took a while to clean all that off. But you can see there's a lot of bits that are still alive. There you go. There's some roots there. I'll probably hold it higher so you can see there's some roots there off that root. There's some roots there off that root, so I'm going to leave them. Some of these have died. Yeah, so these look like they're dead, but they've got some nice roots in there, the feeder roots that have come back alive. So you can see, unless you wash it out and you look real properly and closely, you're not going to notice. So, and I already know that back tree's dead, so, but it's nicely fused into this tree, so I'm not even going to have to tie it in. So it's actually, it's coming together nicely. But you can see this is a typical, probably field-grown, speed-grown tree that they left the old soil in there, the clay soil, and they didn't clean it out. And unfortunately for Claire, that's what happened. The clay hardened up over summer, killed a lot of the roots off there. These are probably just new ones that I've just been able to grow in the last 6 months. So it's come along nicely. Now it'll go into my nice open mix and shouldn't have a problem from there. So yeah. So I did notice this root is from that old tree, so I probably can just take a bit of that off. Don't need it. I don't need it for now. That's from the old tree, so yeah, it's dead. But I just want to be able to have room. Anything that's little sticking out, I'll leave the main bits on. I'll take off the ugly, the bits that are sticking out, and that's all I would do to it. Not touching the roots in any way. I do notice some weed, white bits of weed, so I'll get rid of them. Yeah, I'll just put that aside. I'm just going to put it back in the same pot. Now this time I'm going to wire the tree in so it doesn't move. Before it wasn't wired in. And you can see that's what it is. I'm going to wire, there's wires there ready to wire it in because I don't want this tree to move at all. I just want it to recover. yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let me just do this. Give it a nice base. Now this is her pot, so I'm just going to keep it in the pot she's given me. I prefer this in obviously a glazed pot, but it does look nice in this. It's what she likes. So going straight back in there. What I try and do is I try and be gentle with the roots that are healthy and comb them out so that I actually can recover really well. Now, there's more weeds. I'm just noticing. So try and comb it out. When I comb it out, find the weeds. Let's get rid of them. So if you comb it out, give them the best chance. I'm going to plant the tree probably in the middle, maybe a little bit that way. I think it looks better. Nothing too hard. Make sure all these are combed out nice. So I'm just finding more weeds. There we go. Coming out, coming out. Now I like to get some soil in now, just before I tie it in, because there's hardly any roots. But the soil adds, you know, a bit of weight to the pressing the roots down, pushing the roots down, and then I can tie the tree in. I think this is the last deciduous tree I have to do actually for this season. So a bit of a relief. Don't have to mix up soil. I will have to mix up full soil for my my conifers, but they're not as many. Now I'll tie this in. Like I know I haven't worked the tree in, but that's not going to move anywhere because there's not much roots, and that's the base. So I can just tie this straight onto that. Nice and tight. Tied in there, nice and tight. Actually, I might go underneath. So sometimes, rather than going on the top, I can thread it underneath, and I will do that this time. So, anyway. Bit of an experience, a learning experience when you have a tree that you're trying to get to recover. But I'm hoping this tree recovers well. It doesn't look like it has any more problems. It looks like the problems now have been eliminated. Now it's just letting Mother Nature take control. There's lots of roots. There's enough roots there to sustain it. I pretty much wouldn't even repot this at all for another 2-3 years, probably 3 years, if that. So now it's just making sure the water's right for this tree to recover. And that's pretty much it. So it's getting a bit dark here, so I might finish off now. But that's pretty much the tree. You've already seen me do the repotting and working the soil in. That's all I'm going to do. And I'm done. And I'm done for the season in terms of deciduous trees. I'm not sure what order these videos will go up, but this is the last tree that I'm going to do. So hope you enjoyed my repotting season of deciduous trees. I'm just double thinking. Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm finished. So I'll be starting on my conifers shortly and working on some other stuff in between. So stay tuned, subscribe so you can get updates of the new videos. See you next time.